He's touched on a number of issues that I think impact a whole range of our constituencies. And I hope that there will be some solutions at the end of this debate that we can all work on a cross-party basis. And can I also say how pleased I was to follow the Honourable Lady for West Ham, who brings to this House a huge amount of experience in her shadow roles on this side of things, and gives greater evidence about what schools can do in playing this part and what communities can do. And I completely agree about the point made in both speeches around tackling county lines and ensuring that we can disrupt those who are dealing drugs across our country. Now, it won't be surprising to you, Mr. Chairman, to know that I'm probably going to speak specifically about South Devon and the South West, and I am representing my other South West colleagues, some of whom can't be here today. And of course, any member of Parliament for the South West would never get away in a debate like this without mentioning our Police and Crime Commissioner, Alison Hernandez, and the work that she is doing with us to tackle drug crime in rural and urban areas. And it is a blight that we face. It is a situation that we are seeing in a post-pandemic world get increasingly worse. And while the record of crime across the South West decreases, crime around antisocial behaviour and crime around drugs is on the up, and we're seeing this in the statistics that are being reported across Devon and Cornwall, and we need to see it addressed. Now, our Police and Crime Commissioner and our new South Devon Sector Inspector, Ben Shardlow, are working together with members of Parliament, with district councillors, with county councillors, but also with parish councillors, looking and inventing new schemes and initiatives to be able to ensure that there is a comprehensive level of engagement across the county to report, but also to identify and then to tackle those who seek to deal drugs, to influence people by helping or trying to push them into the drugs trade, and indeed by creating antisocial behaviour through this. And it's particularly welcome that the government has taken so many positive steps in the South West, which is that by the end of 2023, I believe we're going to have more officers in South Devon alone than we did in 2010, 46 new officers, 25 trainees and 21 transferee officers. But they must be utilised in a proper and cohesive manner across the whole area, not just the urban areas where there is high population density. I am repeatedly shocked by visiting small villages, as I did over the recess, Mr. Chairman, and listening to parish councillors tell me about blacked-out Mercedes coming into their villages where they are blatantly dealing drugs and the antisocial behaviour that then follows. And so much so, Mr. Chairman, that just a few weeks ago, one constituent decided to video conference call me from his mobile phone. And from the other side of his fence, he turned his camera over and showed me a video of two people dealing drugs on the other side of his fence. And yet his reporting through the 101 system, which I am going to come on to in a second, there was no response from the police in that instance. And there is clearly a breakdown because ordinary people across our constituencies are reporting these crimes, but they are not seeing the action taken to address them. And all too often, I understand the police have, of course, many pressures on them. But when these are not being dealt with by the police, it doesn't give confidence in people that that system, this issue, will be addressed. So we have to look at making sure that these new officers, in the instance of South Devon, are utilised, are put on a strategic footing to cover every area in rural and urban settings. Now, of course, I've mentioned this point, and it's been mentioned by others about county lines. We see it coming down from the Midlands, we see it coming up from Cornwall. We see South Devon seems to be in a crossroads where we see drugs coming in from all sorts of different directions. And we know where it's coming from, but we have to be able to help build the system that allows us to document the evidence and the information about what constituents are reporting. And this is where 101 becomes a problem. I have to say the pressure that has been placed on that system over the pandemic is clearly huge. But it is also clear that the people's faith and confidence in that system is not there. And we have to find a way in which the 101 system is allowing people to report crimes that they know is being documented and is then being acted upon by the police. And I really hope the Minister might just spend a few seconds addressing that point in his remarks. Local action requires, as has already been said by the Honourable Lady for West Ham, a comprehensive engagement from local society members, but also the police and the schools, and working together to make sure that we can disrupt those who seek to bring harm and dangerous drugs into our area. So I don't want to bang on too long, but I have 5 suggestions, and I hope the Minister might be able to adopt these. So the first is what has been known as the Councillor Advocate Scheme. Now, Alison Hernandez, our Police and Crime Commissioner, has launched this in South Devon. It has proven to be a remarkably effective way in which parish councillors, district councillors and county councillors can all go and get involved and liaise with the police on a regular basis, so that a police officer might also attend their meetings to give them regular updates and briefings on what measures are being taken to ensure that crime is reduced in their areas, but also that there is a police presence. I've already made the point about utilising those officers, but we have to think about how we utilise those. We have village halls all over this country that sit from 6 o'clock in the evening to 6 o'clock in the morning not being used. We should look to use these spaces as hubs for the police to stop by throughout the evenings, throughout the night, so that people do know that at any point a police officer could be in your village or in your town. And the parish councils that I have spoken to in my constituency are all universally behind this. And if you want to use South Devon as a testing programme for this, I would be delighted, Minister, for just a small amount of money from your budget. I'm sure I can make it work. But it has a positive response from those who think that this could allow us to address these issues. And the fourth point I just want to make on this is around substitution of officers. I'm delighted that so many of our police officers want to go on training programmes, but there's great difficulty in replacing them when they are on those training programmes, and that's the problem. So I have a number of officers who I'm delighted who are going off and doing firearms training courses, but no one can replace them while they are away. And I think a firearms, and I'm happy to be corrected by any honourable member in this place, a firearms training course is 18 weeks. So that means one of my towns and the surrounding area is without one of its very necessary and needed officers over that time. We know from the person who deals on the street to the person who brings drugs into this country, we must disrupt them at every single level. I believe we can. I believe there's a positive story about the uplift in officers. But I think we have to go further, and we have to be able to make sure we're addressing all levels of society. Thank you.